Record. This is a recording that we're making on Easter weekend in 2022, excuse me. And we're talking to Dad at the Martha Franks Assisted Living Facility. And Dad is now 95, and he'd like to say some words to children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren probably, and just we're just gonna give him a chance to talk to you guys since y'all don't see him too much. All right, Dad, you're on.
All right. I have a favorite verse of Scripture. It's for this time of the year too. It's John 3:16. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." And so the Bible repeats that idea that Jesus alone saves us and that he died for us. All that suffering he went through with was not because he was guilty of any sin or anything wrong. And after he died, there was an earthquake. And I believe it was that time when the curtain was split from top to bottom in the holy place there.
And how is that significant for the curtain that separates the Holy of Holies?
That was such a holy place that nobody would think about splitting that curtain.
And what does that mean for us? Does that give us access to God directly now?
I guess so.
Priesthood of the believer, that we're all priests?
But we are told that it's through Jesus' death and resurrection that we are saved.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to repent of our sins before we are saved, and we must come to him and trust him as our Lord and Savior. And so that is a wonderful thing. And my left foot went bad, and a few months back, and my left leg went bad, and they sent me to the hospital, and they found out, yes, you have some bones that are broken in both the foot and the leg. And they sent me to a unit here for therapy. And so I spent about 2 months there and they see if I could stand up and push a little cart, and how far I could push it without my foot and legs giving way on me. And so I don't think we got anywhere much with that. We had to check the muscles of the arm and legs and so forth. And anyway, they did what they could, and they finally, they were going to put me in a room up there the rest of my life, and somebody, I didn't ask them, found this room was empty, and so they...
So you're back into your own room, back into your room you used to have.
I didn't tell them that at first.
Right.
But it is, and I sure do. Hey, it's got a nice scenic view.
It does.
And I hate to move, but they say that stepping out of the chair in the shower into a chair in the shower, that in the other room they don't have a little 2 or 3 inches of a little bottom wall. And
so you've been back here in your own room for a while now. What would you like to say to your grandchildren or my children? Well, Bethany and Caroline and Amy, do you have some special messages you want to say to them?
Well, I'm really surprised my children care enough to be kind to me, and they all are. And I'm not
Bethany and Matthew just celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was 10 years this week, this weekend. So they've been married 10 years now. They're very happy.
You have 3 sons,
3 daughters. Right, that's correct. And Bethany's the oldest, and then Caroline's the middle, and then Amy's the youngest.
And Amy's living with somebody.
She is. She's in Somerville. Remember, you're on video, okay?
She's in Somerville.
She's in Somerville right now.
Oh, I thought she was in.
She was in Mount Pleasant area,
I
but right
thought
now
she
she's
was in the Charleston area.
She is. That's sort of Charleston area. It's just outside of Charleston. That's near Charleston, okay? But she's still working for the real estate company.
Mount Pleasant. She did have a Mount Pleasant.
Right. Well, she's in Somerville now.
And
Caroline and Corey are down in West Columbia or near Columbia there. And she's still teaching, and I'm not sure what he's doing right now. But I think they're doing okay. So is there anything special you want to tell them?
Give your heart to Jesus.
Yeah.
And
I think they all have.
Give your heart to Jesus. And pray for each other.
Are you proud of how they've lived their lives, or?
Well, the last one, the youngest one.
Yeah, Amy.
Gives me a lot of concern.
Right, I understand. Yeah. Well, be kind, okay? They're growing, they're learning. They have to learn to find their own way sometimes, you know.
No, I can't make her decisions for her.
And neither can I.
Yeah.
But we love them, don't we? We still love them.
Enough to pray for them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll find their way.
And you were kind to
I've made many mistakes myself. I've made plenty of mistakes. A lot of things I'm not proud about.
Yeah, right.
I've made tons of mistakes. I'm no saint, that's for sure.
Yeah, none of us are perfect.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh.
And today you're doing some laundry, right? Doing a little bit of laundry today, laundry day.
Laundry day today.
Got some things in the dryer today.
And I didn't let the clothes stay in the dryer.
Right. Well, we're going to get them dry.
So we went back.
They'll be dry while we get to visit, okay?
Yeah. Right.
Very good. Anything else you want to say to the powers that be, people out there that care about you?
Give your heart to Jesus.
Right.
Yeah. And pray for each other.
Right. And pray for you, right?
Yeah, pray for me, yes.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. I need prayer too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you just had a new grandbaby, David.
Yeah.
Your Martha just had a new grandbaby with their child.
So I
Your little baby boy.
New great
Jepson.
grandson.
Yeah, great grandson for you, yeah.
Yeah.
They're out in Wyoming.
And he's got a sister that came out
right.
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere along there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. What time of year is this? Is this spring?
Yes, it is.
Spring, yeah.
It's spring.
Grass are growing and birds are chirping.
That's right. And I see them cutting the grass, and I saw
See a squirrel out there?
Hundreds of children hunting Easter eggs.
Oh, they were hunting Easter eggs out there the other day. How about that?
And before that, after the snow melted, and somehow or another the birds told each other, a certain flock of birds, to meet here and eat the worms.
Yeah, the grubs. They found food.
There were thousands of them.
Wow,
out there.
really?
Yeah, there was.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's all amazing to me. I've never seen that before in my life.
Right.
And then when the children were out there hunting eggs, I said, well, there's not as many as the birds, but they have a lot of them out
Tell me about your favorite trip that you and Mom took together. I know y'all took several.
We went to Holy Land. Church that I did pastor.
Right. Is that Mount Bethel?
Gave me $1,000.
Wow.
To go with a group of people from Georgia,
was it Georgia, Anderson? Where were they from? But you went with them, had a good time, right?
Yeah, and some of them heard about it at the church I was pastoring there in Georgia.
Okay. Oh, you were in Georgia then.
And they
in Hartwell, Georgia then.
And they gave my wife $1,000.
Well, how sweet.
Now it takes a lot more.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, a whole lot. You can't go hardly anywhere for $1,000.
You got to have all of these COVID, is it COVID?
Yeah, COVID, yeah. You got to have the
COVID.
mask on and everything when you
And
travel.
I'd had 3, now they're asking for 40.
What did you enjoy most about your trip to the Holy Land?
No, I got to see where Jesus was buried.
Yeah, well, you didn't think they may be
Yeah.
buried, or he was buried?
Well, I'm sure that's where he was buried.
Okay. And where was that at? Was that just outside of Jerusalem, or where was that at?
Yeah, outside of Jerusalem, but they would not let me go to the where he was crucified.
Okay.
But when you stood there saying, well, that over yonder is where he was crucified,
Golgotha.
it was so noisy.
What is it?
It was a bus transfer.
Oh, bus transfer over
And
there
people
now.
were yelling and hollering
Oh, wow.
and everything,
Very,
you know.
that not like what it used to be. Yeah, now it's a bus transfer.
So,
Things change, don't they? How about your trip to Alaska with Mom? What did y'all do there? Did y'all take a cruise to Alaska?
we would take the pastor of the First Baptist Church there. I would say First Baptist. Anyway, we see him on TV.
Okay.
But he sponsored a trip every year to Alaska by boat.
Was that the one? It's First Baptist Spartanburg that you see on TV?
No, not Spartanburg.
Which one?
You might get him on that program, but he's from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, that pastor. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
they show pictures of people listening to him, and
Right.
the place is just packed full.
So
of
Mr.
people.
Stanley, that was Mr.
Yeah.
Reverend Stanley,
Yes,
took
right.
y'all to Alaska.
Wait, that's right.
What did you like most about that trip to Alaska? Was it the scenery that you saw?
Well, I guess watching the
I never heard-
fish.
You watched the
You know,
the whales and stuff?
The fish come to the surface.
Oh, come to the surface. Okay.
And,
Did you get to see any polar bears or grizzly bears out there, or
didn't see anything like that.
salmon, or
No snow. Or
yeah?
anything.
You didn't see any snow then?
Not then.
It must have been in the
It
summertime.
was summertime.
Yeah.
And so
So y'all had a good trip to
that-
Alaska and
that
got
was
to
a
hear
good
Mr.
trip.
Stanley preach.
to Alaska.
Okay. What other trips did you go on that you are memorable to you that you can remember? Because we like to travel. Darlene and I love to travel different places.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to remember everything. Williamsburg, I know we've been to Williamsburg together. Williamsburg, Virginia.
Oh yeah, when y'all lived up there in Virginia.
Mm-hmm. You went to Williamsburg?
We
Yeah,
there.
okay.
I don't know whether I did the right thing or not, but Virginia inherited the house that her daddy and
Right,
mother.
right.
And
Y'all sold
so
it?
I said, I don't want to be tied down to keeping it up to date and everything.
Right.
So we sold it.
Y'all sold it, right. Yeah, I know you did, yeah.
Now,
Okay.
whether I did the right thing.
I
or
think
not.
you did. You did the right thing. You can't second guess those decisions. We just have to go with it, you know? All right. Any other memorable things you want to talk about? Your time in the Army?
We lived 27 years after we retired.
Yeah.
27 years.
Yeah, in Lawrence, yeah.
Near Lawrence.
Right. You're in Lawrence now. Anything else you want to talk about to them? You played in the band and you played football?
I played band. You know, one of the teachers, and I'm not trying to brag, gave me some kind of award. I don't remember what it was when I graduated from high school. Because I was one of the best all-round people.
How about that?
I played in the football.
What position did you play in football?
Right guard.
Right guard. Okay.
And played in that, and I played in the band.
Right. Now, how'd you manage to play in the band and play football at the same time?
Well, the band, I don't know that the band played in small schools.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
More concert band. That's a lot right there. What else were you involved in? organization-wise? Did you have Beta Club or anything like that?
I don't remember a beta club. I probably wasn't that smart.
Yeah, I wasn't either. It's okay.
But anyway, because I was in the band and because I was on the football field, she thought I was well-rounded.
Well, good. That's nice to get an award.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
then you went on.
I was about 5 years old when my mother took me away from my daddy, and
Right.
she said she wanted to commit suicide.
Right.
She just couldn't stand her husband. And,
Right.
But then she thought about me, who would take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't commit suicide, and she took me home with her to the United States.
Took you back to California to his sister, right?
To his mother and a sister.
Yeah.
For a while until one of her sisters.
She was named Mamie, I believe, wasn't it?
Well, I can't remember that.
And then your mother's sister was named Mamie, I remember.
She married into good money and everything to seek us.
Right. So you settled into around Lena, South Carolina.
Lena, South Carolina, with my granddaddy and grandmother.
Right.
And how they put up with me, I don't know. But
they had a farm.
My mother, had a farm.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned to milk. And I had other things to do, and learned a little bit about farm work.
Now, what made you want to be a pastor?
I guess the Lord wanted me to be a pastor.
When did you feel that calling to ministry? Is that when you were in college or in the Army or in high school or when?
I can't remember when.
Was there a certain pastor that inspired you to want to be
one of the things that I guess led me in that direction was working at Ridgecrest all summer.
Okay.
So I worked one summer at Ridgecrest.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what.
Something about that inspired you to want to pursue
we always
ministry?
went to church.
Yeah, you always went to church,
I always went to church and heard sermons.
Mm-hmm.
And,
what made you understand that ministry was God's calling in your life? What helped you to understand that?
I guess, I don't know, but I guess the sermons that I heard and other young people made the decisions for Christ for themselves, and I wanted to do the same thing.
Okay.
But so far as being a pastor, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And I could hear the preacher come to our house and said, "You think he knew what he was doing?"
About how old were you when you accepted Jesus or made that decision to be in Christian ministry?
No, I was in high school, I guess.
Yeah.
But
so a pastor came to your house and talked to you, make sure you knew what you were doing.
Talked to my granddaddy.
Talked to your granddaddy.
And
okay.
I just happened to hear what they said.
Oh, okay.
I was in another room. Yeah.
So after high school, you went to Old Miss for a while and then joined the Army? Or was that Baylor first?
We had a professor at high school that took three of us, Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Right.
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Right.
To Allendale to take a test.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know what all was happening, but we passed the test. And so then he drove us all the way to the University of Mississippi,
okay,
where there was a group of people dressed in Army uniform after we had been sworn in.
So ROTC?
For the Army.
For the Army.
Yeah, and
I didn't know if you had to do ROTC first for a while before they accepted you.
We were in this group for a while.
Okay.
And I don't know what all they had planned, but we were all in uniform. And then they moved us to another university, Auburn.
Albany, okay.
And
Auburn.
Auburn. While we were there, they said, "All right, now you're old enough to take basic training."
Oh, you weren't old enough at first.
So now
But now you're old enough.
We took basic training.
What was your rank in the Army? Did you make...
When I left as tech sergeant.
Tech sergeant, okay.
Yeah. And anyway, we didn't wound up doing what we were trained to do, engineers or something like that.
Okay.
And so we went in, after we got through basic training, they shipped us. Well, one of them got out, Harry got out because his daddy died and his mother needed him.
Okay.
Home. And so that left myself and Gifford Solomons. And we were in basic training together. And I like to die there, because between crawling on our stomachs and carrying our guns with us and so forth, we couldn't rise up high. They were just not shooting real bullets first. But that night we were to do it again, and they would shoot real bullets.
Wow.
And when we got across, we crossed a road, and then they had a dummy that we had to jab with our bayonet, which was the Japanese dummy. And later on, Gifford went to the Philippines, or we both went to California and Oregon. And up there they decided where we were needed, I guess. And they sent me to South Korea and sent him to the Philippines. So I never saw him again. And when they got through with my work there, they had these R&R recreation time, and a lot of times they'd send them to Japan, but they didn't do that for us. We went to Shanghai, China.
Right, when you met up with Deaver Lawton.
Well, yeah, I did. I went to a little
one of your cousins.
I saw a Bible, small Bible store, and I went in and asked them if they knew Deaver. And they said yes, and they put me on the phone with him, and he was just passing through carrying medicine to Canton. And he was there for a while. And so he came to my room. I was in YMCA. And I had a private room there. And I got sunburned on the little boat. We went on to Shanghai. So I had to deal with burned up skin and so forth. And I found out that cold cream was good.
Right.
And I couldn't stay with David. With
Deaver,
one of my cousins. So the day that he left on the boat, this boat was in the middle of the stream, and we went to the docks. He used to take a small boat to his big boat, and he was not going to do it all at one time, evidently. He had some other errands to run, I guess. And so I waited and heard him say, "This is the last trip to that ship that he was taking." And I said, "He's not here. And this is the last trip."
Oh.
So they took the last trip, but he had because he could speak the language and everything,
Right.
he was able to hire another boat
Oh, okay.
to take him over there. So I quit worrying.
Yeah.
And
He knew what to do.
he knew what to do. He wasn't worried about it a bit.
Right.
One Chinese fellow saw me there,
Mm-hmm.
just waiting in the docks, and he brought me a Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
They have a big sign in
Mhm.
Shanghai, Coca-Cola. So I thought he was giving it to me. I assumed he was. Somebody said maybe he
He's
was
trying to sell it to you?
maybe he was just letting you take a drink.
Oh.
But I thought he was letting me have the whole thing, so I did. I took it. Took it, but just assumed
Right.
he was giving it
Right.
to me.
You don't know. Yeah.
He
Can't speak
didn't
the
say
language.
give it back to me or anything.
Maybe he was giving it to you.
So,
Maybe he was being nice.
So
Okay.
I kept that. But one thing, I walked around the streets of Shanghai. One place I saw was a jade god, a jade god
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that was put up there on one of the streets. And I got to see where people worship the jade god.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was walking back to my room there at the YMCA, and a little child, Shanghai child, was taught enough English to talk to the English soldiers that were there, English speaking. And he says, "Hey, you want a virgin? A nice clean,
Oh, trying to pimp.
a nice clean virgin."
Oh, wow.
Well, I thank the Lord he kept me from wanting
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I made a cross out of
Mm-hmm.
2 fingers and told him I was Christian, I didn't do things like that.
That's interesting. I never heard that before.
But one thing Diva said is don't give money
Mm-hmm.
to beggars. They work for another fella.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's the
they're
one that
professional
had to give
beggars.
them money. So I did. They came to me and wanted money, but I didn't give it to them after David said,
Right.
after
Diva.
Diva said not to. Since then, I saw Diva at home there,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him I would like to go to China and work there. And I had presented myself as a possibility, and somewhere they turned me down. So I never did get to go there, and it's probably good I didn't.
God has a way of working things out, putting you where he wants you.
But his daddy was retired at Ridgecrest.
Oh, okay.
And his daddy's the one that got me to work at Ridgecrest.
Okay, how nice. Who was his daddy? Which Lawton
He
was
was
it?
a Lawton.
He was a Lawton, not T.O. Lawton?
I don't know.
Thomas Morgan Lawton, maybe?
I
Or
don't know what Lawton
one of those?
Steve Lawton's daddy.
Yeah.
Back then I probably couldn't remember because I'd go
Yeah.
to his house
Right.
and visit with him and his wife.
Was he was Olive Lawton's brother, right?
My granddaddy's W.A. Lawton.
W.A. Lawton.
William A. Lawton.
William A. Lawton,
And I
okay.
lived with him, and how he put up with me,
Yeah.
besides all the other things. And he had all these children, all these children. And then, but none of them were living with him at the time that he took me. Now, he had gone to Florida because the jobs had given out at
Right.
Bristol and Lena.
Didn't he work for Coca-Cola or something down there? One of them worked for Coca-Cola, drove a truck or something.
I didn't know
Coca-Cola
that.
bottling plant, you told me that one time.
Well, that may be true. I just can't remember that. But anyway,
Yeah.
some of them helped build houses down there.
Oh, built houses
And
down
one
there.
of them worked for a big store down there.
Okay.
And anyway, one of them saved their money as a summer worker in Christian work, and it was $1,000, I believe. And she gave my mother, and me to get on a bus and drive all the way to Florida.
Okay.
And it wasn't long after we were there that my granddaddy decided to go back to his home, but his home had burned down.
The little one in Lena had burned down.
No,
Estill?
yeah, it was in Lena.
Lena.
Yeah,
That's right.
And it burned down because whoever had the house was
Right.
renting it. Moved the kitchen.
Moved the
They
kitchen.
always leave it outside.
Right.
They connected it to the house.
Right, and it burned it down.
And it burned down.
Oh. So wood stoves in, I guess.
And then, you
And
know,
prone to fires.
had a big, somewhere along the way, before we got back there, they had a war between the whites and the blacks,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so the blacks didn't go to the white school and all that. There was separation.
Segregation, right.
And if you went to, I believe I saw a picture you gave somebody of Old Depot, and it said colored over here.
Right.
And white. So
Well, the theater said that, for sure. Depot may have said that, but I know the movie theater in Hampton used to say that.
yeah,
and
that was in Lena.
In Lena?
And
Okay.
it's 2 miles away to Estill, and that's where I went to school from, first grade
Right.
through the 12th grade.
How about that?
Yeah.
Did they have 12 grades then, or was it only 11?
Had 12.
They had 12 then?
I believe so.
That's interesting. I thought you told me they only had like 10 or 11 grades then.
You know, I can't remember
Remember?
things,
Yeah, but you graduated.
but I graduated. I thought it was 12 grades.
Right. We're going to end the video because my hand's a little hard to hold up this phone that long.
That's all right. I know it gets hard.
And if there's anything else you want to say to
My
people, let me
favorite-
know.
My favorite verse is John 3:16.
And you quoted that earlier at the beginning.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And
That's
the
very
same
inspirational.
idea is taught other places in the Bible, but that one I remember.
Remember, you used to call that the gospel in a nutshell. That's what you used to call it. All right, we're going to say goodbye.
Well, goodbye, and why I'm 95, I don't know. But God is so good to let me live
Right.
this long.
Very good. Everybody, happy Easter.